How are you doing, everybody? It's actually 3:30 a.m. in Kenya right now, Africa, and I hope everybody is doing all right wherever you are. Just tell me in the comment section at what time are you watching this video and where are you watching from. And there is something that we need to talk about it right now, right here. Instead of sleeping, let us wake up and come back here for the poor in Africa. I know for the poor in the USA and in some countries of the of from the West, they're still awake. It's daytime right now, but right now in Africa, it's really at night. It's at night. People are sleeping. It's 3:30 a.m. And unless those who normally wake up very early in the morning, maybe they are up preparing themselves to go to jobs. I wish you all the best as you're looking forward to go. The African Streamline wishes you all the best. Now, without further ado, let's get after this video. Ibrahim Traore is revealing now secrets. He is now speaking out. He is no more keeping quiet. And Ibrahim Traore is about to revolve Africa. He is about to liberate Africa. He is about to make everything turn around. That is what he is doing right now, because as we can see him, he is speaking things that a lot of people never used to know. Like people like us, we didn't know these kind of things, but now we are getting to know them because Ibrahim Traore, he is actually now speaking these things out and we are listening to them. We are hearing them. He is a man who is revealing secrets. I want us to get to the video. We see the video, we watch it, and then we shall come back here and break it down one by one until we come to the end of it. Without further ado, let's get after the video. Let's watch this video.
Emmanuel Macron.
When I recently took the words of Emmanuel Macron on Africa, every conscious African should understand very quickly what he was able to tell us and what it means. General Tianet said not long ago that the change of tactics or strategies of the French forces in Africa, I think he came to confirm it, is about dissolving and keeping a solid foundation. Emmanuel Macron said it so well that we can only thank him for this sincerity, even if some wanted to put the powder in the eyes of their population. But reality ends up catching up too. They will not leave some countries. They have just dissolved the system. You will no longer see them in bases, but in the embassies, they will be there. They will build security companies to secure their companies that exist in these countries. But the soldiers will be there. You will no longer see them in uniforms or gathered in bases. That's all it means. They will reorganize, but they will be there. He spoke of politeness towards certain heads of state by giving them the primacy of announcing the breakup or the departure of the French forces. It doesn't matter to us much, we can say, but all we know is that if you want to break up with these imperialist forces, it's simple. We denounce the agreements. It all starts there. I think that the example of Chad, in any case, is palpable. They started by denouncing the agreements. Otherwise, if we don't denounce the agreements, just say that the bases are leaving, we haven't done anything. Because the problem is in the colonial agreements of defense that have been signed since independence. The most dangerous are not the ones you see in the bases. The most dangerous are the military advisors. The military advisors exist in all these countries. They existed in Burkina until the end of 2022, until we took responsibility. And who are these military advisors? These are the ones who are supposed to put France's policy into practice here. They have to work to make our armies very weak, so that France can always have the argument to exist here. Under Blaise Compaoré, they succeeded. Our sentinels took the guard with sticks. That's what France wants from our armies. When we get to this stage, we don't have a choice but to want them to settle. But the Burkina army managed at some point to get rid of the military advisors. Unfortunately, I think that in 2010, after the operation at Tapuano, when the French saw that the Burkina army still had the capacity to react to terrorism, they called the chief of staff in France. They instructed him to take back the military advisors in the whole structure. Well, he didn't accept it. But when he came back to France, the politicians instructed him to accept the military advisors. And that's when the military advisors returned to the Burkina army in 2019. With all the consequences we know, the army was disappearing in the years 2020, 2021. And besides, that's when many soldiers had to desert because there was no hope. We were collapsing. This is how they work. In the army, in the general staff of the army, in all the staff of the army, in the schools, it is they who are supposed to dictate the policy of our army. It is they who tell us how many to recruit, when to recruit, and what to do. They are in the schools to tell us how to train them, and so on. As long as these military advisors are there, you are not independent. Your army will just have the appearance of an army that will be doing parades, circuses. But when the war comes, you will realize that the parade is one thing, but the war is another thing. We have to break the agreements. This is the only way to have an independent army and to build and be strong. But many people may not understand this. And even with these agreements, France chooses in our states officers to train them. It goes through these same agreements. But in reality, these officers who go to train, for the most part for France, they come to serve the French state in their country. They do not come to serve our countries. They train them so that they can serve the interests of the French state. I have proof of this. When we revolted, a lot of officers in Burkina who were trained in France were immediately contacted to tell them that it was time to take action because they were trained to serve the interests of France. Most of these officers realized this. We took action and we continue to follow up. When an officer trained in France arrives in his country, and unfortunately, either by accident or on the battlefield, in France there is a night of mourning for the dead in the army, as elsewhere. On the night of mourning for the dead, we cite the name of the officer in question and we say, "Dead for France." They do not train him to serve his country. They train him to serve their state. And in many African states, there are plenty of these officers. God knows how many are patriots. This is a lesson that Emmanuel Macron has given to the leaders of African states, to catch up and to be able to really fight against imperialism. In addition to that, he also insulted all Africans in his words. There is a part that caught my attention, where he spoke of ingratitude. And that ingratitude is a disease that is not transmissible to humans. He is human. Our ingratitude is not transmissible to him. This is how this gentleman sees Africa, sees Africans. We are not humans in his eyes. Maybe he is the one who is not human. He does not put himself in the class of humans. But if he has good ingratitude, it is him. I think that if he is not an atheist and he prays every morning when he wakes up and prays, he should also pray for Africans, because it is thanks to our ancestors that there is today a France. He should pray for us. In his eyes, we should not be humans. We are more than humans. These are very strong messages that he sends. I cry for the French people, but still he is good for Africa. He is a necessary evil for us. Those who want to wake up, wake up. Those who do not want to wake up, as we say, we cannot wake up someone who does not sleep. Africans must wake up. We must work to be independent, to at least make our people know happiness. And the fight against imperialism is that. We must decolonize the mentality, take all this data into account, because the world gives us so many examples to see. For them, there is no morality. They can designate you as terrorist today, but tomorrow you are a hero. By their simple mouth, they decide what they do. They talk about democracy, but they make themselves of constitutional coups. They talk about human rights, but they deceive people elsewhere. Africans must wake up. Africa must wake up. And the fight against imperialism is permanent. I invite you to join this fight, to work so that we are truly independent, that we are self-sufficient, and that we can develop no happiness, which is what our people aspire to. Thank you. I wish you a very good day, a very good week, and a very good year. And that at the end of this year, 2025, by doing the retrospective, we must say that we have brought a great plus to our nation. Thank you all very much. May God bless you, and may God protect our dear homeland. The homeland or death, we will win. I wish you a very good and happy year 2025. Through you to all the staff working at the institution present at Burkina Faso. I wish that 2025 will be a year full of health for you, your family, and your loved ones, so that you can give the maximum of yourself in the work for the happiness of our people. I wish that 2025 will be a year where you will see all your projects crowned with success, prosperity, and above all, that throughout the year, God guides our actions, protects us, and watches over us. I also wish to remind everyone that the fight against imperialism must be integrated into our genes now. It must be a fight that is being fought relentlessly and every day, because many people have not understood what this fight so far is. Our brave fighting forces are on the ground. They lead the fight against the manipulated valets. They are doing their best to bring peace to our dear Burkina Faso. As much as they are doing it, our laborious masses, which are farmers and farmers, are also fighting so that we can achieve food self-sufficiency through the support of all the technicians of the Ministry of Agriculture. This is very important. And as much as they are also fighting in the administration, we must fight to change our mentality. This mental decolonization is the most difficult part. This is why we want to constantly remind you that we must change our mentality, return to our roots, and fight. This is also the fight against imperialism. Every opportunity is given to us to understand imperialism and its manifestation.
Welcome back again. Thank you so much for watching that video. Now, Ibrahim Traore has spoken something that is very significant, something that we really need to actually talk about it. It is something that is very, very, very significant. And sometimes we're asking ourselves, what's the reason as to why Ibrahim Traore is speaking these things? But I want to tell you a very good reason as to why Ibrahim Traore, he is speaking these things. Anyway, Ibrahim Traore, he is speaking these kind of things because he wants to revolve Africa. He wants all the countries of Africa to be free. He wants all of you to become free. He wants every African country to actually snatch themselves from the hands of these predators we are having in Africa. These people who are making bad use of us, who wants to keep on using us time and again. Okay? He wants everybody, every African country to be free, and that is why he is revealing these things. Now, he has given us a very good statements here that we need to be following them as African leaders and African people to make sure we are snatching ourselves out of the hands of these people. And he is telling us, these people leaving your country, it is very hard. He has talking about France, and Ibrahim Traore is saying that France leaving your country, it is very hard. These people just getting out of a country that does not belong to them, it is very hard. Sometimes they will tell you they have gone, and they have really not gone. Okay? So their military actually evacuating Africa, or maybe leaving, relocating from the land of Africa, does not mean that they have left your country. It does not mean that they are nowhere to be found in your country. It does not mean you will not see them or hear them again. Them evacuating your country, their military is going away, does not mean they have gone. These people would always still find the many ways possible to make sure they're still staying in your country, because they want to continue protecting their businesses, they want to continue invading in your country, they want to continue getting the benefits they're getting from your country. Okay? And sometimes it's very hard because there are rules that were made by our ancestors, rules that we were not there when those rules were being made by these people. And therefore, these are the kind of the rules they're holding on to them up to date. The kind of the rules that it's keeping them in Africa up to date. Okay? And that is the reason as to why these people, it has been hard for them to actually leave the continent and the country of Africa. And Ibrahim Traore is telling us the best way to actually do away with these people once and for all, for good. Number one, denounce the rules and denounce the agreements that you people had together with them. What do we mean by denouncing? By denouncing, we mean declaring publicly that whatever it is that you had an agreement on, it is wrong and it is evil. Before the public, before everybody, declare whatever it is that you had made an agreement on between the two of you. It is wrong and it is evil. That is denouncing something. Okay? And so Ibrahim Traore is telling us the only way to do away with these people, number one, is to denounce those agreements, because those agreements are the things that are really killing us. Those agreements are following us everywhere we go. We try to do away with the white mind supremacy, but because they know there's some kind of an agreement we had together, they are not shaken and they're not afraid, because they know in one way or the other they will still come back here, and it will not be able we shall not be able to resist them, because there is some kind of an agreement we had together. Okay. um, we need to get rid of the military advisors. So we have these people, military advisors. He's talking about the military advisors. And when he's talking about the military advisors, he's talking about people who are being given, or other people who are coming from foreign countries. For example, France. There are people who will come from France. They come to Africa. When they come to Africa, in the name of military advisors, they come to Africa with their rules. They have been trained on how to rule these militaries, on how to talk to them, on how to train them, on how to speak to them, on how they are going to. And so they are carrying that training to come with it here in Africa in the name of military advisors. So they advise the African militaries, or in the country that they are in. So they start advising those people in that country, advising them, giving them advice and telling them, you're supposed to be doing this and this and this and this. And that is what they do. Okay? So these military advisors, they are the one who are misleading our militaries. Okay? They tell us as Africans how many people to recruit, when to recruit them, and what are they going to do. So they are giving us works to do. They are telling us what to do. Okay? And that is why you find out that when it comes to, and that's why Ibrahim Traore is saying that these people are they're making African militaries just militaries. But when it comes to a place where now it is a place of war, it is when now you will realize that this military, they are not militaries anymore. Because how they are doing things and how they are fighting terrorists, it's even disguising. Because these people have not been given the enough training to be able to sustain them. And why is it so? It's so because France, or a foreign country, or a Western country, wants to keep on staying in Africa. They want to keep on staying in your country. And because they want to keep on staying in your country, so they do something that is, if it's about training your militaries, they train them in a way they cannot be able to fight terrorists. So that when terrorists appear, or when war comes, your militaries will definitely find it hard to fight terrorists or to do away with the terrorists. And then we will have no otherwise but asking them to come to your country and help you fight the militaries. They cannot give your militaries a special training, a training that is needed. They can never do that, because they know if they give you that training that is needed, you might even surpass them, or rather, you might not need their help in times of trouble. Okay? And that is why we are asking, we are looking forward, and we are fighting to live in a country where there is freedom, where we can do our own things. We don't need to ask a foreign people or foreign militaries to come to Africa so they can be able to train our African militaries. We're not supposed to do that. We don't need to ask them to come to Africa so they can be able to rule, or they can be able to train our militaries in the way that is needed. You're not supposed to do that. And therefore, we are saying that we need to do away with the military advisors, because they're intruding in our matters. They're making life so very difficult for us. They're making things work. They're making things hard for us. So anytime you're trying to make things that put things in action, it becomes very hard, because these military advisors, they are intruding. They are coming with their rules. Okay? Ibrahim Traore also has said when these militaries they go to France to go and get trained in France, they are not trained to come and serve their countries. They are trained so they can be able to serve their masters, which is France. So when they are trained to come and serve them and to continue serving their masters, when they come, there's a special training they have been given and they have been taught. Okay, so when a country starts collapsing, or rather, when a country gets to a point when it wants to get rid of the foreign countries, they are now being told, now do this and do this and do this. They are told what to do. Some have even been brainwashed, and therefore they follow what France is telling them to do. Okay, but Burkina Faso found a way of doing away with that. Okay, it found it easy to do away with that, and that is why Emmanuel Macron is very angry, because the moment we start knowing your steps and your ways of doing things, definitely you're going to begin to get angry, because you are using me and you've been sitting on top of me on my head, and now I have realized your ways, I've realized your tricks, and now you cannot trick me anymore, you cannot mislead me anymore. What else do you remain with? Anger is what now you remain with. Anger is what is working now with you. And so Traore is telling us these military advisors we are having, they're the people, they're like spies, okay? And they're the ones who are blocking a lot of things from happening. So we want to do something, but we cannot do it because they give rules and they tell us what to do. And that's the biggest problem we are having in Africa as Africans, especially the countries that are still under colony today. And as long as we have these military advisors in our governments, we shall not call ourselves independents. We cannot call ourselves independents. We are not supposed to be calling ourselves independents because we are having these people in our government. We are having these people in our military men. Okay? And it becomes very hard for us even to tell them, do 1, 2, 3 things, because there are people who are being driven and they're being told what to do. Okay? So these military advisors, we do away with them. That is number 2. Number 1, we denounce every single agreement we had with the Western people. Okay? Denouncing, going public and saying this is wrong and it's evil. That is denouncing and doing away with it completely. No connections, no ties between you and the white man's supremacy. Um, and so, if we can be able to do all these things, it becomes very easy for us to be able to conquer. We can conquer very easily. We shall conquer very easily if we can be able to do these things that I've just mentioned, things that Ibrahim Traore has talked about. Okay, denouncing, doing away with them. Don't scam public, say it's wrong, and also it's evil. We don't want it. Okay. Number 2, do away with the military advisors, because Ibrahim Traore said these people normally leave your country, but they find a way of coming back into your country using these military advisors. So they have left, but they're still ruling our countries. Okay, and they cannot go because they still have businesses here in Africa. They want to keep on protecting their businesses. They want to keep on living here so they can be able to rule over us, and that is what we don't want. Okay, the issues of military advisors telling us we recruit how many, this number of people, how are you going to do it, giving them the works that they're going to do it, that's something we don't want. We want to live in a country where we are peaceful, where we are making our own rules, where we can be able to wake up and do anything we want to do in our own, making our own rules. That is the kind of a country that we want to live in, and therefore if we follow this way, we are going to liberate Africa. At the end of the day, that's just my opinion. Do let me know what you have to say in the comment section. I'll do my best to make sure I read all the comments on the comment section. Thank you so much, and keep tuning in African Streamline. I told you every day, when you're African Streamline, you find yourself in African Streamline, just know you're at home, and feel free, say anything. I'll be there to listen to you with gratitude. My brothers and sisters from diaspora, I thank you so much. From Caribbean, thank you so much. From Africa, also, I thank you so much. May you, God bless you so much, and stay tuned. Be there all the times. As I told you every day, Africa is home. Africa ni nyumbani, and anything that concerns Africa concerns me and you as African people. You are great people. You are nice people. Keep on tuning in. All right. Adios, guys.